Hello students. Today we discuss in this lesson the structure of plastids. Plastids is a cell organelle which is exclusive to plant cells and a few unicellular organisms like Euglena which have plant-like characteristics. So we are not going to find these cells in any other cell type which we study under cellular classification, like it won't be present in fungi, it won't be present in animal cells. So let us consider the cells in which it would be present. It would be plant cells only, and the plastids are further of three types. We are going to see the three types, and then we are going to discuss in detail the structure of chloroplast, which is of very much importance in the process of photosynthesis. You must be knowing the only process which is the source of all productivity on this earth. So there are three types. First being the chloroplast. It is very important. It is a semi-autonomous organelle of the plant cell. Semi-autonomous means it is going to have its own genetic material which would be partially dependent or proximally dependent on the internal nucleus. Next is the chromoplast. I have written it in red color. That means it is something related to color. Chromo word whenever comes, it refers color only. So these type of plastids, plast is for plastid and chromo is for color. So it is those plastids are considered under these section which have color inside them. You might have seen autumn trees, they get red, they get yellow, they look very beautiful. So that is all because of the presence of this chromoplast, which is present in the form of xanthophylls, carotenoids. You know the chili is red in color, the red chili, it is because of carotenoids. The carrot is red because of the carotenoids which are present inside it. So they are sort of pigmented organelles. That means they are going to have some or other pigment which would show color. So the chromoplasts are the colored plastids. Next is the leucoplasts. They do not have any color. Their function is storage. So basically they are associated with storage of food material only. What else would a plant store? It would store food material only. So the type amyloplasts, amylo word we often use for carbohydrates. So they are going to store starch inside them. These are those plastids which would perform the function of storage of starch inside them. Second would be aleuroplasts or the proteoplasts as we call them. So protein storing plastids would be known as aleuroplasts. They would not have any color. So first of all you need to know that these two types of plasmids are going to have color. This is colorless. So it is colorless but still it has the function of storage. Aleuroplast stores protein, amyloplasts store carbohydrates, and elaioplasts are the fat storing plastids. They store the lipids and the fats inside them. So we have three types of the plastids which are present exclusively in the plant cell. I am saying it again and again because you won't find these three things in any other cell except for the plant, and the most important being chloroplast, which has the pigment chlorophyll. Since class 6th or 7th you have been writing chlorophyll is required for the process of photosynthesis. So chlorophyll is a pigment which is present inside the chloroplast which helps in performing the function of photosynthesis because it uptakes the sunlight. Solar energy it uptakes. So we need to know that what is the structure of chloroplast. For that you need to understand this belongs to plant cells, so it is going to be a double membrane bound structure because it is a eukaryotic cell organelle. So the outer membrane would be present, the inner membrane would be present with an intermembrane space between both the membranes. It is just like a cod liver oil capsule you must have observed, filled with stroma inside. Stroma is again jelly-like fluid which would be constituting this. It could be understood in a better way from the three-dimensional structure. So when we see this under an electron microscope, what we see is that there is an outer membrane, there is an inner membrane, there is an internal space between them. That is going to be present in any eukaryotic organelle if I am talking about the membrane bound organelles. The membrane structure is same, fluid mosaic structure as we did. Now what we have next is most important thing, that it has stacks of membrane bound thylakoids present inside it. It is just stack of coins, like stack of coins are present, so are thylakoids present. These thylakoids are again having their own lumen inside and the membrane which surrounds them. So you can make it out that this stack is again a tubular sort of structure, but a flattened structure which is going to have its lumen. This thylakoid, if observed under microscope, it again contains a double membrane which would have internal space, and all the chlorophylls are present inside these thylakoids. So basically the energy which is taken up by the chloroplast is taken inside the thylakoids because the chlorophyll is present inside the thylakoids. These thylakoids, when they are stacked on each other, this stacked up structure is commonly known as granum. Granum, singular is granum, and if I replace this by a, it would become grana, and that would be plural. And there are around 100 to 200 grana inside each chloroplast. So there would be many stacks of thylakoids which would be present inside a chloroplast, and oftenly these stacks are joined to each other by a long structure which is thylakoids of course, but an elongated one, and that is known as stroma lamellae. It is lamellar structure. You must be knowing the meaning of lamellar structure, tube-like structure. Lamellar structure which connects one grana to other is known as stroma lamellae. The other name for it is fret channels. Now in the beginning I told you that chloroplast is a semi-autonomous organelle. That means you are going to find its own ribosomes inside it, and you are going to find its own DNA as well inside it. That means it does not depend on the nucleus for its replication. Replication is simple prokaryotic one, that is why it is semi-autonomous. It has its ribosomes, own ribosomes, which would be 70 S ribosomes, because this again, like mitochondria, is believed to be a prokaryotic cell that has been enslaved by eukaryotic cells. So they have 70 S ribosomes, they have their own chloroplast DNA. So these two things are required for replication, which make the cell or the organelle capable of division, and it has both. Then because this is involved in photosynthesis, and the outcome of photosynthesis is basically the starch, so it is going to have starch granules as well inside it. So there would be a big starch granule where all the material which was formed as a result of photosynthesis inside the thylakoids would be stored. And of course all this would be suspended inside the matrix which would be known as stroma. So this is the basic structure of a chloroplast, which you need to understand, that a chloroplast is a double membrane bound organelle. It contains an intermembrane space which separates the stroma of the chloroplast from the cytosol. It further contains thylakoids stacked on each other which form a grana. Many grana are together present in this stroma of chloroplast. These grana are connected to each other by a lamellar structure known as stroma lamellae. There is present of few starch granules which are result of synthesis of light process, that is light harvesting done by the chlorophyll pigment that is present inside the thylakoids, and there is semi-autonomous nature of chloroplast which can be attributed to the 70S ribosomes and the cDNA which is present inside the chloroplast. Thank you.